Hi, it's me, she. I'm back, guys. How have you been? Today is October 6th, 2020. Today's 11 day. 11 day. We've talked about these master numbers. This is a master vibration spiritual awareness day. So today is the energy is coming through as who am I? So we're going to tap into this energy right now with this 11 day. It's a chaos and a journey that is opening up and increasing all of our divine awareness. So for those of you who have been traveling this journey, I've been trying to, since last week, since the full moon that hit on the 3rd of October, I've been trying to get into this vibration to do another video so we could talk about that harvest moon. But we kind of went over it the last week of September, the harvest moon and what that meant. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to go back through that. If you missed that video, I would say go back a week or 2 weeks now and visit that last video so it can bring you up to date to where we are in these energies moving into 2021. I got to tell you, I have tried several days to feel this energy and get into the energy of the spirits, but they were not it wasn't happening. They were telling me to just wait, just wait, just wait. So I've been sitting here since, early this morning, which now this is in the afternoon. So I've been sitting here for about 4 hours trying to see where the spirit was pulling me and actually get myself out of the way. So I've already shuffled. We're going to do things a little bit different. The last video, I did it the same way, using 3 decks. And so we're going to stay in that energy because that is where the energy pulled me. And I was trying to pull away from our original players, our mystical shaman, and it just said no. So we, along with our mystical shaman, we have 2 other decks. So, and 1 card fell out again from the Oracle of 7 Energies. That card that came is Shining Through. Shining Through is number 30. Number 30 breaks down to a 3. 3 is creativity. So when we are shining through with our self-expression, with this card opening up this reading. Last time I pulled this card back because it was in between worlds, and it was actually labeling or giving us a better understanding of what those other cards were from the Gateway of the Divine Tarot. So this time, and this is how I wanted to do it, but it said no, so we're going to stick with it in this way. So Shining Through, can you believe it, guys? October is here. Those energies from that full moon, that big old harvest moon that was sitting up in the sky, and it still has little pieces of it left as it starts to wane. That energy last week was very, very powerful. And again, if you've been feeling confused, stuck, a little lost, it's natural. It's normal for where we are right now in these energies. So I'm going to try to help clear some of this up for you. So moving forward to the end of this chaotic month of October, which is a 10 month, and 10s are completion. So we're actually coming into a month of this energy, of this cycle for this season. We're coming down to a completion. So when that completion, or that the wheel, the circle of this wheel is turning, you will feel, a lot of different pushing and pulling, because when we're moving between Virgo and Libra, Virgo is earth and Libra is swords. So when we're moving through these energies of air and earth, we are talking about how do we find that balance here on earth? How do we bring that all of that stuff in our head that has us clogged up and thinking? How do we bring it down to earth and make it tangible in our daily lives? So shining through. So right now we're stepping into our true power. When you look at this card, I love this card because it's a flower. It's like the center of, you could say it looks like a cabbage, or you can say it's the symbol of the 1,000 petal. And that means that we are moving our higher self in our air into our third eye and up into our crown. And so when we're looking at this card, we're at speaking, communication, listening, visions, having our throat chakra open. And it's just like this, the picture, it's like opening up, going from the throat up to the top of our head and straight out. So as this communication or this self-awareness, this speaking our truths, coming into our own courage, opening up into, which can be also a little scary if you aren't balanced, if you are not grounded. Now is the time to shine. Now is the time to shine through with all these gifts that has been cultivated, we've been working on over the past year. So now is to take these gifts and these blessings that are going to start to appear in your life, and you have to use them. When it says it's shining through, that means it's like being on a stage, being an actress, and it's your first curtain call. And you're nervous and your stomach is tied up in knots and you're unsure, you're uncertain. There's a lot of, like I said, 11 can also mean chaos, meaning the angels are speaking to us. And when the angels are talking, you have to clear the chaos around you so that you can hear, so that you can see, so you can listen, so you can know what they're trying to show you, what they're trying to light the way, light your path so you can see the journey. The last video ended with, which path are you on? Are you on destiny's path, or are you still on life lessons? Life lessons means that you're faced with chaos and challenge, and you're not receiving it well. You're not handling it well. You are, exploding. You're blowing up. You're not calm. You're filled with anxiety. You feel with stress, which makes sense because this is the energies that we're in. That's what's happening. COVID is happening. Storms are happening. Fires are happening. From one side of the world, you have things being burned down to the ground. The other side of the world, you have the water, the ocean coming in and swallowing everything up. It's pulling it out into the ocean. So it's a very chaotic, unbalanced time. And it's like one thing or the other. Just when you think you have your water under control, here comes that fire, passion, lighting the sky up. Mercury is, like I told you guys, Mercury has been here with these planets on fire, and it's going to be here for a long time. And so you have to harness that passion and not turn it into anger, but turn it into a moment where you can shine, where you can show that you are balanced no matter what is happening around you with everyone else, that you're able to stay on destiny's path, because right now, everything possible is going to be coming in to try to shake you, to try to get you off path and put you back on that life lessons, pull you off of, distract you from your destiny. So we're going to keep going into our next cards and see where we are. If you've been seeing the number 11 or 1111, we want to say that these are events that are happening when you see these numbers. Like if you see it on the clock is 11 o'clock, it's 11:11. You see a license plate, you see 111, you see 1111. All of those are master numbers that all lead to divine. So when you see these numbers, the 1 has a meaning, the 11 has a meaning, the 1111 has a meaning, and the 111, they all have a different meaning on that path. So when you see those numbers, that means you're in synchronicity. This is an event that's happening or in your thoughts or in your surrounding, that it's saying, okay, pay attention. Your angel is trying to communicate with you and show you something. Carl Jung called synchronicity, it's like a casual coincidence, and it all has meaning. It all has a relationship. It's not a normal coincidence. It's something that has meaning. Coincidences, for example, could be when you think of someone and all of a sudden they call you or you run into them. You can say, oh my God, that was a coincidence. But if you were thinking about that person because you had something that you wanted to give to that person, or you had a message for them, or you may not even know that person, but when you see them, when you run into them, or they call you, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just, I have a message for you, or I need to give you something, or I feel like I know you. Have we ever met before? That is when it's called synchronicity. So in Carl Jung's story, a patient she had a dream, and she was telling him about a scarab. And the scarab, as she was telling him her dream, this golden scarab started beating on the window outside of his office where she was laying on the couch in front of the window. He looked, and there's this scarab trying to get in the office. That is synchronicity. Okay, so we're going to keep moving. Our next card from Ciro Machete's Gateway to the Divine is a coin. This card is a number 5, and 5s are changes. And right now we are in the chaos of changes through 2020 to get through the end of 2020. This card as a coin is an earth card. If you think about the pentacles, we're talking Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and Saturn. I told you we've been talking about these planets. Saturn is gone, moving forward now. It's no longer asleep. It's moving forward. So if you look at this card, she has like a cup in her hand, an empty cup. the image is of a beggar, someone who is going through hard times. But right above her is this beautiful golden stained glass that's filled with coins. And then you see the hope, the flower of hope, the beautiful flowers of hope. So she is asking for help. And this card in this earth symbol is more related to Taurus. Taurus is stubborn. And so sometimes when we when we need help or we need something, we find it difficult sometimes to ask for help out of pride, could be out of stubbornness, could be out of just not wanting to be a bother. But sometimes, and especially now when I said, are you feeling stuck? Is things kind of chaotic in your environment? You just have to, the advice here is to don't be afraid to ask for help, because help is really just an arm's length away or a cup away. So if you need it, ask for it. Or if you see someone in need, maybe you can offer assistance when you can. Because sometimes when we are helping others, we really are helping ourselves. So when I said I'm going to do something a little different, because what I do like about these cards, he puts an author with a quotation or a saying that really brings these cards to life. So I'm going to read Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out. But when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. Again, that's from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And that is the 5 of coins. Ooh, and usually coins are money too, guys. So in that card, when we're talking about reaching out and having our cup fill, or when you see people standing on a corner, they have a little cup, or some of them are playing a musical instrument, they have their little cup out, or you even just go to Starbucks, they have their cup sitting right there for a tip. And that again is a need, asking. And our next card is the Wheel. And the Wheel is a 10. I love 10s because 10s are completion. And so, or we can break it down to 1, the beginning. So you either completing or ending. And Jupiter sits, which it actually looks like Mars to me, because Mars is kind of like that reddish. And you actually, guys, if you go out tonight, which is Tuesday, the 11th, the 6th, it's 11th day, the 6th of October, and you look at the sky, at the moon, you should be able to see another star that kind of looks full. That's going to be Mars. That's not going to be the moon, because the full moon has passed. So if it looks like a big old ball in the sky, that's not the moon. That is actually Mars. So, and remember, Mars is bringing all this fire and this passion. So we really want to be careful as we're dealing with people, not allowing our tempers to flare, because when Mars is igniting that fire right now, you're going to lose control. And when you lose control, let's think about the debates, because Mars has been here, okay, for a while. So all year. So when we just had those debates this past September, a couple of weeks ago, I guess before Donald Trump got the coronavirus, the two was that debate was, most people are saying, and I agree, it was horrible because it was a lot of yelling and screaming and disruption and name calling. That is what Mars do to you. Mars will turn your peaceful or your cool-headed or you feel like I got this, I have everything under control, and the next thing you know, that fire, that match, that bomb went off, and you're enraged. So right now, when we're talking about this wheel, and you see this wheel, everything is kind of like that color of our sacral chakra, which is orange, and it is water. See the water? We would think of water as I'm losing my train of thought. We're thinking of water as blue, but when water is orange, it is our sixth chakra. And so we're talking about to feel, we're talking about intimacy, desire, pleasure, feelings, sexuality, that fire that brings that water to a boil. And when you're looking at this card, so it has in the wheel, it has the zodiacs, all 12 signs. And then it has the Fool, which is the beginning of the tarot. It starts with the Fool, and in this deck, he uses the gesture as the Fool. And this Fool is going around in the four cardinal directions. Remember, we talked about you have 4 elements, and then you have the 4 cardinal directions. So when this wheel is here, it's just the meaning of completion, the basics of change that comes, the journey becomes stability. So everything in the universe is impermanent. It's constantly changing. It's constantly a flux, and it's constantly flowing. So when we learn to adapt to that change, to that flux, when we learn to be in flow, whether the waters are calm or the waters are raging, or the storm is a tornado, or the fires are burning down the house, the trees, everything, or it's just a simmer of passion. When we're in a sexual simmer, there may be heat, but it's not so ignited that it's burning things up. It's just like a warm bath. And that's how we want to be in this energy moving into towards the end of this month, because October has 2 full moons. The first one was October 3rd, which is the 3, and I'm going to get to it in a few minutes. It has a major meaning, and it was the harvest moon. They call it the harvest moon because this was the time in the farmer's almanac when, before there was the Rolex watch, where the farmers of the day didn't have the technologies. Their technologies was the sky, the sun, the moon, the elements, the universe. That's how they could tell when it was time to harvest their food before winter. So it's just like the cycle or the wheel of time. And in this card, like I said, that's not Mars, that's actually the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter brings us good fortune, it brings good luck, it brings timing, meaning being in awareness of the cycle of change or the cycle in the seasons, the phases of the moon and the phases of time. So favor or fortune is shining above us right now. And so if you're imbalanced, if you have been on this wheel and understanding how to have your elements, all the elements in flow, all that would, no matter where we are, no matter what cycle we're in, you might get shaken. We all get shaken. We all get disappointed. We all fear. We all feel anger. Because that's what it means to be human. But also what it means to be human means we do have a choice of free will. We do have free will. And so we choose to love. We choose to be angry. We choose to allow life or events, people, persons, experiences, circumstances to cause us to behave or respond in a certain way. So when we're choosing to respond, means we're in control. When we choose to react, that means we're reacting out of fire, out of water, out of our roots not being grounded. And our air is causing us to feel maybe above ourselves, because sometimes air can have a sense of people who are in the air element, born within the air element, which would be your Libra, your Aquarius, and Gemini. They can tend to be a little bit quirky, or they could appear to be thinking above us, or it's like they have this air about them, you can say, that when they're communicating sometimes, they are like, it comes off as if they may be talking down on you or making you feel like you're smaller. And that's when we use this shining through, that you want to shine through, not shine above, but shine through. You want to use your light as a guide, not as either to burn and scorch someone, or as a light that will make it so bright. You're so high in the sky, like the sun. Because remember, we're not the sun. We're human. And so you don't want to shine so bright that no one can look at you. You know, it's like you're looking at the sun and you're like, oh my God, I need some sunglasses. It's so bright. I have a funny story about that. Then I'm going to talk about this moon. I went on a date with a friend. I guess I was kind of dating him a little bit, but many, many years ago when I was a young girl. And he was kind of like, I guess, he had an air about him. You know, he had accomplished some things in his life for a young man. And so he, kind of had this very macho-ness about him. And he said to me one day, we went to go to dinner. And he said to me, and again, because we were friends, so for me, there was no attachment. And I made that clear that we were friends. So he was free to, date, whatever he felt the need to do. But if we were going to be out together, then I would give him my attention and he would give me his. Meaning, if I'm out to dinner with you, I'm not going to be on the phone talking to someone else or texting someone else. So he had when we get to the restaurant, he'll make this story quick. He had a a phone call that he said he had to take. So I said, okay, no problem. Well, I'll go in and I'll, because it was one of those restaurants you couldn't do reservations. It was, first come, you get a seat. So I go in, I said, let me go get us on the list. So I'm sitting, waiting. He never comes. So I'm sitting here waiting. About 25 minutes later, a girl is like, had called about 3 times, to seat us, and I didn't want to seat without him. So I said, let me go see where he is. So I go out, and he's out in the car, and he's having this heated conversation. So I tapped on the window, and I said, I'm ready to go. So he gets angry because, he didn't realize time had passed. He had to deal with it. And it was a personal situation with another woman. And he told me after he, frightened me to death on the drive to my car, he said that I believe that the sun rose and set on my ASS. And I thought to myself, well, sir, put your sunglasses on because you're going to watch the sun go down. And that was a horrible, horrible example of me allowing my air and my fire to allow someone else's behavior. I reacted. I did not react, I did not respond, but I reacted to his behavior. So I'm getting my words, react and respond. So you want to respond. You don't want to react. And now that the moon is here, and again, 2 moons this month. I told you the first one was October 3rd. The next one is going to be on Halloween, October 31st. And that one's going to be called the blue moon. So if you look at this card, it's very, very blue. And this card is a 18. And so when we're talking 18, we're down to a 9, which means attainment. So the full moon, I think I said last week, with the full moon it's like hidden water. It's like psychic. It's like when the full moon, it's like a source of intuition when the moon, or imagination, or hidden desires, or hidden. And if you see the beautiful figure that is in, and then she has the crescent moons around her waist. This card is a full symbolism of Egyptian symbology. And if you look really close at this card, it has all these very significant symbols. And so in Greek mythology, right now, I think they're calling this storm that's raging, coming off the coast, going right into Louisiana. And I say a prayer for those folks that are in that region because they have been hit multiple times, is called Delta. And Delta is a Greek name, like Delta Airlines. It's actually a Pisces. When we think about astrology, we're talking again, water. The moon governs water. The moon is feminine. And we've had this energy for this entire year of 2020. It's like every other reading that I've done, we always follow, or the moon shows up. It's like the light of the rising moon is always here. The moon is like the queen of the night. I put out a card. I don't know if you saw it, whether you saw it on my Facebook, if you're friends with me on Facebook, or if you saw it on my conscious website on Facebook. But I had put a card out again of Mama Killa, who is she's a goddess who rules the night. And in that empowerment that I was sharing for the full moon last week was that we're in a cycle, or a mythology of a cycle with 2020. And the suggestion right now is just trust in the rising of the full moon in the next 28 to 29 days. Trust in the process. Go with the flow. Trust that Mama Killa, the moon goddess, there's so many transformations happening right now within our planet, our earth, and above our earth in the cosmos. God is, or spirit is actually moving through the earth, or earth that we call Pachamama or Gaia is doing a lot of transformation right now. There's a lot of changes happening right now. When I say transformation, it's a real trance, like trance is moving, form is shape. There's a real form of shaping happening right now all around us and within us. All of our souls are actually rebirthing, like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. We're literally, and that is a mystery within itself. How does a caterpillar turn itself into a butterfly? How does something such crawly, creepy, with a bunch of little legs and beady little eyes turn into such a magnificent creature? That is what we're going through right now as we change from earth, or from human, from something lower level underneath the earth, or in the lower worlds, to something higher, as we can never be angels here on earth, but we can shine our light, and our hearts can have a transformation. We as mankind, or humankind, can change into something more beautiful. And in the next 5 years, that is the destiny. That is the goal. How will you turn into your beauty? What will your beauty take its shape? What will your destiny look like? And that is what we're talking about. That's what we've been talking about. Your individual, each of us, our individual journey, our individual path to our destiny. And some of us, it will be easy. Like I said last week, I talked about the movie, where this year is like the previews. All year long we've been in a preview. And as we go through and 2021 comes in, the credits will start to roll, and our movie will begin. And this is the month, October, is shaping itself to show you what that is going to look like. And guys, I'm going to tell you, it may not be easy. It is not going to be what you think it's going to look like. And if you're in the flow, you're doing the work, you're co-creating, then maybe you won't be so caught off guard. You won't be so shooken when these changes or your credits start to roll. So, oh, goodness gracious. I think that was it. I hope that was it. Yes, that was it. Whew. Okay, these cards, I told you guys, these cards, they're a little stiff. I'm going to try to pull them the way they fell. I think that was it. These cards are, I'm going to tell you, these cards are powerful. So my stone that was resting on our major players is the rebirth sign. And it is a cobalt blue, beautiful, beautiful blue. And again, we're talking about the throat chakra, which is sound, to speak, to communicate, a vibration, music, listening, voice, expression, and all of the above, that anything we use to communicate with in our throat region, meaning when you're talking, you actually have expression. You have a self-expression. The expressions in your face tells people what you're thinking. Your eyes tell people what you're thinking, but it's all coming from the throat or the Vishuddha. Our first card is, oh no, not this little crow. You see that little crow, guys? Oh boy, he's horrible. Because I told you, that little crow, he comes and takes things. He's always looking for stuff to steal. Crows also, though, are birds of the night. Crows are, as we can see, he's also a ruler of the moon and the sun. You can see the crow in the daylight and the dark. And when they're calling at you, they have a message. They can also be message givers. In the Bible, they say God sent the crows out to go, or Noah sent the crows out to go come back and tell him when they saw land. Well, they never came back because they found something more interesting. But crows also, when we add this 13, is a symbol of stability if you take it down to a 4. Some people say 13 is a bad luck number. We have Halloween coming up. That number 31 is backwards, is 13. I say it's actually a number of fortune. So because of superstition, some buildings, some hotels, the 13th floor is missing. It goes from like 12 to 14. On the airplane, if you notice, most airplanes, you going down the aisle, you're looking for your seat. It'll go from 12 to 14, 16, or 12 to 20. But they just skip out that whole 13 because of superstition. But this crow, we were talking about this crow, and this crow has come in our energies quite a bit this past year. And remember, I was telling you, the crow looks for shiny things to steal or take. And when this crow is here in our energies, you have to kind of think that he is the universal law. And when we say the universal law, we're talking about truth. And he's here to teach us to kind of walk our walk, talk our talk. Remember, communication. So if we say our reality is one thing, but then our behavior speaks something different, or our expressions show something different from what we just said, then that means we're not living our truth. And when we are in illusion, that we're tricking people, because crows are tricksters. When we think we're tricking people, we're really only tricking ourselves. So be careful of that energy, guys. Be aware that the crow is here to help us know who we are. When I began this, I said, the energy is, who am I? We're learning who we are, and we're learning to be in our own flow. The flow. And it's a 2. Remember, I said we have choices. 2s are, which way do you go? Which path? You have to choose. Are you choosing destiny, or are you still choosing to be in life lessons? Life lessons, Life lessons mean we're not in the universal law of flow. We're not flowing with the four elements. We're not flowing with the universe, or we're not flowing in the destiny or the plan that we promised we would be on, or the journey or our path. We're saying one thing and we're doing something else. So if there's natural movement of events in the world that's happening right now, you can see it in the ocean. And I shared with you guys also about my experience, or my moment of dry drowning when I went into the ocean. And so the ocean kind of has a ebb and a flow about it, and it kind of just rises and it goes back out to sea. It rises and it goes back out in the sea. And so when we talk about breathing, or we talk about breathing the life of breath, in the meditation video I did, or podcast, I taught you how to, and I'm quite sure many of you already are there with the breathing exercises, is that you breathe in and you breathe out, and you breathe in a rhythm or a vibration. That vibration is with the earth, the ocean. You go in and you go out. So when you're breathing, you're literally, when you're relaxing and going into meditation, one of the meditations is the rhythm of the ocean. So when you're breathing, you're in that flow. And when you learn with intention, when you set intention, not to push upstream, not to force air in and out, but to be in flow. When we talked before about how she has that water balanced in her hand, and even though it's not a perfect ball, it's a kind of taken a life form of its own, but she still has complete control. That's living life in a flow, having the ebbs and flow of life. Wow, choices. Which way do you choose? Magic. Oh, I love magic too. These are some good cards. So we are down to a 6. And we know 6s are telling us to persevere. Perseverance, to keep moving forward. Keep going. Right now, this month is more important. 33 is a master number as well. You can look up 3s. 3s are creativity. So that if we looked at it from that perspective, it's divine creativity. That means that you're getting, when you see 3s, triple 3s, double 3s, 4 3s, that means that divineness or spirit has its hand all in your creativity. It's like when you see, 333, 330, stop and think, what are you thinking? Or ask, what nugget or gift are you giving me right now, my angel, my spirit? What brilliant idea is taking place right now? What timing or infinite intelligence or great spirit that you're trying to share with me? Where is the universe in its magic? And if you look around you, there's magic everywhere. Magic appears when you're invited to see the world through the eyes and the awe and the magnificent and the wonder of a child. And for me, that's why I love the classics. That's why I love those movies. C.S. Lewis. I love Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, because all of those movies or books or stories, They show you magic. Disney shows you magic. The princesses, they show you the magic. And those stories are the magic of our lives. It shows you the symbols. So, for example, when we look at Narnia and we have Aslan, the lion and that is a symbol of Christ. In the movie The Lion, the Wardrobe, and the Witch, the lion lays down and dies, just like the Lion King, the great big father who's the symbol of the entire jungle. He is killed saving his son, but he was saving all of us. And when you look at the Christian story of Jesus and God, the Trinity, it's all in those movies. The magic is all in them. It's a sacrifice. Someone's sacrificing. They're giving up. Or when you talk about the princesses, the magic is that they find love. And when we talk about 11, or the number 1111, that is the number for twin flame love. And twin flames are not the same as soulmates. If you are lucky enough in your life or to have the magic to have found your soulmate, you are one step closer to a magnificent emotion of love. Or like last week we had the beloved, or 2 weeks ago, I keep saying last week, we had the beloved, and the beloved is us loving God. He's our lover. So when you have that experience in human form, when you're able to share that, when we talk about twin flames, though, the souls are twins. Like, you have twins, you have identical twins. Well, twin flames are that identical light that was lit at the same time. And when you are here in this big old great round earth, and you're on opposite sides of it, you will find each other through synchronicity. And I'm going to leave it there because that's a whole video and story of its own. Twin flames are magic. And the mystical shaman is our next card. Wow. It's 11, guys. Ooh, it's an 11. Oh no, wow. This is who am I? The symbol of the myth maker in the shaman is the storyteller. So instead of, let's see, we've had this card before, and I'm feeling like since we just had magic and we're trying to be on destiny's path, the mystical shaman is now here as an invitation that we are now telling our own story. Just like when I was telling you guys my stories, I've been, unfolding and revealing a little more in the last 6 months, I guess, more so than I've done in the past. I've been telling stories of my own journey, things that have been happening to me as examples. And so when the mystical shaman is here, he's here to tell us that we can manifest. I'm going to say it again. We can manifest any possibility. But the story is the one that we have the choice to make. And so when I was telling you about how 11 is also can be chaos to the journey, as you're on your journey, it appears to have chaos, because when you're on that wheel of life, when you're on that journey, and some calls it the hero's journey, we all have our own journey. When we start out on that journey, it starts with chaos, because sometimes in order to get us moving, something has to happen. Something has to shake us up. Something has to give us a nudge to make us move. And with the alchemy of the mystical shaman, mystical shamans are like ancestors of old, wisdom beyond wisdom, who share heritage, share history, tell stories. And so as we're on our journey, we are going to run into these wisdom tellers, these mystery people who show up in our lives, or our ancestors, or in our dreams even, that will come to tell us a story to help us understand the truth for ourselves and understand the story that we came to tell, we came to live. Remember I said, come into next week or next month, and moving all the way into 2021. The story that we're telling, we're living, that right now we're just in the previews, and when it gets to January, the credits will start to roll. What will your story be? Who are you? Ask yourself, who am I? Who do I want to be? And now we have the owl. And my little owl guy, he's resting with the shining through, is holding it up. Again, Athena's owl. We had this beautiful, beautiful owl. I love this owl because, owls are sharp. They can see 360 degrees. They can see in the night. They can see in the dark. Athena, the Greek goddess, used her owl to go out and spy and come back and tell her what was going on. And that helped her because she could see. She had a third eye. She had a knowing that no one else had when it came to war. So she knew where the enemy was. She knew where all the other Greek gods, where everybody was and what they were doing. So that made her a brilliant warrior. She was able to strategize and bring about some tactical or mystical major tactical war arsony, where she was able to bring a war and bring it down to its knees. So as she was able to bring about a knowing, a gift of strategy, think of yourself now as a warrior. And you have this owl, you have the vision to see, you have the vision to know, to speak. All of your energies, your 7 energies, your 7 chakras are aligned. And this owl has given us the gift to strategize and make our story be that of a hero, of a hero's journey that can be told in this world and beyond. The owl. And our last card and completion. Wow. We have 9 cards. And this is a number 9 card. And this video, I know it went over an hour. I guess it makes up for when I didn't do one last week. Okay, it is what it is. I guess I told too many stories, but I am enjoying telling these stories. This energy right now is so important, guys. We have reached completion. We are attaining. We are gathering. October is here. All things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I told you about this orbis. It has the 4 directions. It also has all of the colors of the energies are balanced. Your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, and your root chakra, all the way down and back around. All the way around and back around. Congratulations, my friend. Guys, I'm going to leave it right here. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you soon. I don't know when, but until then, hopefully before the next full moon. Namaste.